Today I got a fairly interesting video for you. Might be a little longer, but go ahead and sit tight because I think it's a lot of important information that you all might want to see. So before I get started, please hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe, the notification bell, so you get notified every time I make a new video. And let's get started. So first and foremost, I wanted to revisit this XRP chart again because I have been talking about XRP over the past few months. I'm sure a lot of you that have been following my videos have seen that I first thought, we were probably about right here in this whole pattern fractal that's been playing out over and over. Past few videos I've talked about, I don't think that that's happening anymore. I think we're about here as I've indicated, and I think that over the next 6 months or so, we will see probably continuation down, some sideways trading. I think we can go all the way down to 15 to 18 cent area before we bottom out. There will be an explosive move in XRP. I think it's coming. I just think at this point it's going to happen more in the March, April, May timeframe of next year. And I think that's because that's also right around where Bitcoin will start making new highs. So it looked like we were about to take off. If I caused you to FOMO in, honestly, I'm not really sorry because for one, this is not financial advice, but also I'm not going to feel bad if you buy it 30 cents because of a video I said or I put out and it goes down to 15. If in a year it breaks $10, $10, $25, $50, my price targets are late into next year of where I'm even going to be considering getting out a big chunk of anything if I ever do. So 30 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 22 cents, it all is irrelevant right now. The price is a total distraction. Getting in on this right now, I truly believe is one of the best opportunities that will ever exist in our lifetime. And we will know, 5 to 10 years down the road if I was right or not. But right now, these little intraday swings are not going to matter long term. And that's the perspective I'm taking. So, yeah, hey man, you do you, but that's about it for the XRP chart. So next, I want to take a look at the S&P 500 because I have been saying, I thought we needed to pull back to these moving averages. This is the daily chart. The weekly still has a ways to go to hit the moving averages, but ultimately, we've just been getting way too parabolic here, and it was due for a pullback, and I think that will continue. I just don't think that there's any massive crash coming. We might have a pretty good correction, but I don't think we're going to have another 2008 or something even like we had back here in March. I don't think that's coming, and I'm going to continue to show you why in this video. All right, so first main reason, go ahead and follow Elastos Sash if you want to get some good Elastos news. He's one of the Cyber Republic Council members, I believe. If not, he's heavily involved with the team. But he said, and this is why I can't see things crashing like March. Money printing will just exponentially increase with the upcoming election and assets artificially pushed higher. Strap in. So I totally agree with that. But what he was doing is just retweeting Trump. And Trump said, biggest and fastest financial recovery in history. Next year will be best ever unless a very sleepy person becomes president and massively raises your taxes, in which case crash. So the reason I wanted to talk about this tweet is because this isn't his only tweet like that. Everyone knows that Trump is campaigning on the stock market. So do you think that, over the next few months, it's in his interest to see the market crash, have some crazy pullback? No, I don't think so. He's got those guys pedal to the metal behind the scenes, keep my stock market up, and that's that, So you got the left wanting the market to crash and Trump's trying to keep it afloat. My point being is I think that he's going to do everything in his power to make sure it doesn't crash. And, I don't see it coming, All right. So that about covers that. For those of you that don't know, what is the S&P 500? I reference it a lot. This is kind of more basic. So let's just read the definition and make sure we understand. So the S&P 500 or Standard & Poor's 500 index is a market capitalization weighted index of the 500 largest U.S. publicly traded companies. The index is widely regarded as the best gauge of large cap U.S. equities. All right, so now we know what the S&P 500 does. All right, so now I'm going to get into the details of why I don't see these markets, any of these markets, crashing and going away anytime in the near future. Long-term growth is what I see. And the first reason is right now, you got to remember, everything that we're talking about is measured in dollars. And what's happening to the dollar right now, right? So this is a dollar valuation. This chart is dollars. So why wouldn't it continue up forever if the money supply is continuing up forever? So the dollar is being inflated consistently and parabolically this year. So the dollar is continuously losing its value. So these real assets that we're measuring the valuation in, why wouldn't they continue to grow against something that's continuing to lose its value? All right, so that's basically, reason number 2 is the inflation rate. At least when we're measuring things in dollar valuation, I expect dollar valuations of everything to continue to increase. All right. Another main reason is the world population growth. So as you can see, this has a projection in there as well. So right now we're at close to 8 billion in population, and we're projected to reach about 9.7 in 2050 and 10.9 billion in 2100. So over time, this population has started to balloon since the 1900s, into now. Obviously, we're really taking off, and that's because of obvious advances in, health and medicine and technology and so on. So as technology continues to get better, as medicine practices continue to get better, as the population continues to produce, I expect markets to continue to advance and grow right there along with that. It wouldn't make sense, honestly, for the top 500 companies to be shrinking while the population is growing. All right. One huge reason, too, that I think people are completely overlooking is that 4 billion people still don't have internet access. And this entire article is about how we're trying to connect them right now. And this is the World Economic Forum, by the way, who just put out this video not too long ago talking about, not only video, but a bunch of articles talking about a great reset and how this is an actual plan around the world, how they're going to basically reset everything. So this is why I keep talking about a financial reset. It's coming, it's inevitable, it's happening, and it involves crypto. Personal opinion there. Not even opinion, it's factual, and I'm going to show you why. All right, but let's look at this article as well. So it says more than 4 billion people still don't have access to the internet. Over half of the world's population is missing out on life-changing benefits of connectivity from, what do they say first? The first thing that they say, from financial services, okay, to health and education, blah, blah, blah. So first one that they mention, financial services, all right? They say governments, companies, local and international organizations, and members of civil society are working to get more people online. The problem is big, complex, and multidimensional. All right, so let's look at some of the problems that they say they're trying to solve right now. So the main issue, I think anyway, and they do as well, is infrastructure. So only 31% of the 31% of the global population do not have even 3G coverage, while 15% have no electricity. Affordability. 13% of the world population living below the poverty line. Broadband is only affordable for 100% of the population in just 29 countries. So 2 reasons there. Skills, awareness, and cultural acceptance. A key barrier for some is education. 15% of adults globally are considered illiterate. Also, with women up to 50% less likely to be using the internet than men. Local adoption and use. The vast majority, 80%, of online content is only available in 10 languages. which only about 3 billion people speak as their first language. So less than half of the population can't understand, or more than half of the population can't understand what's on the internet right now. So we got a long ways to go. All right, what can we do about it? Provide financial assistance to those who cannot afford to get online and set up a public Wi-Fi, which I'll talk about a little bit later on in detail as well. All right, so they want to tackle the global digital divide will require public-private collaboration. I put that in there just because, or I wanted to highlight that because I've seen in videos time and time again, especially in the United States, government officials saying that the government is going to need private corporations to help them build out this new financial infrastructure, basically. All right, lastly, I got highlighted here, the internet has become a pervasive, fundamental part of daily life, but low internet penetration significantly impacts a country's ability to participate in the digital economy, which is becoming an increasingly important priority for development as Africa, like the rest of the world, enters the fourth industrial revolution. All right, so next I'm going to examine with you, what does the World Economic Forum call the fourth industrial revolution? All right, and lastly here, we know it's possible to break down the digital divide for the 55% of the world's population that is still not connected. Now it's time for governments, businesses, and civil society to make it happen. All right. So a couple things that I need to go back through. Like I said, what does the World Economic Forum call the fourth industrial revolution? And how are these public and private companies, what are they doing to build out the new internet? So, all right, as I mentioned, the World Economic Forum says we're going through a great reset. And I wanted to zoom in with you on the portion of the Great Reset that they call harnessing the fourth industrial revolution, and examine each little category with you. So what do they say is going to be the fourth industrial revolution? They say it's going to be the future of computing. It's going to be blockchain. It's going to be, I don't know why they put that in there, fourth industrial revolution again, whatever. Drones are going to be in there. Digital economy and new value creation. Future of media, entertainment, and culture. Artificial intelligence and robotics. 5G, digital identity, vaccination, quantum computing, internet governance. All right. So they got blockchain right in there. They've talked about getting financial services to everyone all around the world. They've shown how 55% of the world's population don't have internet. All of this stuff ties together. If you can't see what's happening around the world, I don't know what to tell you at this point. We are literally moving into an age where they're going to connect all the world's populations, that 55% of the people who don't have access to the internet, they're going to get them that access. They're going to try to get, languages on the internet that they can actually understand. And they're trying to get them financial services. Ultimately, what they really want to do is bring all these people in as customers. So as I've said before, if you were a CEO or CFO of a large corporation and we were sitting in a room and, I was telling you, hey, look, you might not know this, but there's 55% of the world's population that, you can't sell to right now. Would you be interested in adding them as customers? Of course you would. And that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to build out this new infrastructure that's going to allow access to the rest of the world's population. So, to me, right now, there's a lot of uncertainty in all the markets, but long term, there's so much more room to grow that no, I don't see any kind of historic, crazy meltdown in the markets coming that will just never come back from, another 20, 30-year depression like we saw in the Great Depression, obviously in the 20s, 30s, that time frame, the market took 25 years to recover. I think, no, we're not at that point again. Back then, there was no infrastructure. Right now, there's so much infrastructure built out, and they're only trying to add more to that. So, trying to bring in an entire new market share. All right, but enough of that. I'm sure you get the point. I'm just trying to put this into perspective that, hey, if there's all these other people out there in the world that haven't been participating yet in the global economy, there's plenty of room to grow. That's basically what I'm getting at in a nutshell. And lastly, I talked about how we're working with corporations to build out this new internet. I've showed you before, Starlink, built out here by Elon Musk's SpaceX. They said Starlink is targeting service in the northern US and Canada in 2020, which they're trying to roll out by the end of the year, and rapidly expanding to near global coverage of the populated world by 2021. So do you think there's potential that Starlink here is part of this whole World Economic Forum and the idea of building out a global internet? I think so. Chances are. Also, they say they want to keep space clean. That's also part of the Great Reset, is keeping the earth clean and restoring green, basically. So yeah, there's that. And lastly, another reason why I'm bullish. What's different since the 2008 crash? If we have another crash in general, one of the differences here is there's a new asset class that's been created, and it's called cryptocurrencies. I'm going to examine, I think, in another video in more detail how I think crypto is very similar to a derivatives market, because each one is basically tokenizing an underlying asset that already exists. So crypto is very similar to derivatives. But anyway, derivatives market's 54 trillion, and the crypto market is a fourth of a trillion roughly right now. So once again, I'm bullish long term on all asset classes essentially, but I think that the crypto market is very unique in that it's new and has the potential to capture a share of all these other asset classes that already exist. So that's why, with me being young, I do have all my eggs in one basket, and my bet is on that. Crypto and these global financial services being built out is going to be the best investment of at least my lifetime, or maybe the next 20, 30 years, whatever. We'll see. But all right, that about wraps it up. Hope that was informative. Appreciate you watching. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The cashless society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The cashless society, the cashless society.
The cashless society.
The cashless society is now approaching.
The cashless society.